Welcome back to the King's Corner, the place for all things Bethesda. I am the KingFanMan, and this is the KingCast, and we have a lot to talk about today. Of course, we have new Fallout 76 content that is coming out next week. We're going to go over Locked and Loaded. Also, we've got some other subjects we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Starfield. It's looking more and more and more like it's coming this year. We got more evidence just this week that it's coming this year. And we're going to talk about E3. And then we're going to talk about a little bit of a bad subject that several Bethesda employees have been leaving. So we're going to talk about what that is. But before we get into all that, I want to welcome my special guest today. I have my very good friend Kane with us. Kane, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I am doing great. One of the reasons I wanted to have you on here is, of course, your knowledge of Fallout 76 and Fallout in general, and we're going to talk about Fallout a lot today. But the other reason I wanted to have you on here was to tell everybody about your channel. Do you mind? Can you put a link up in the chat to your channel? Kane, if you can't, that's fine. But Kane has a great new channel on YouTube, and he's been doing some videos on. Well, I'll just let you check them out, but they're really good. But do you want to say anything about your channel, Kane?
Yeah, it's a primarily lore-based, Fallout lore specifically. So any videos that I put up are going to be leaning toward that. I also put up some news videos from time to time when there's important things that are coming up. But other than that, it's just a place to go and have fun and learn a few things about the game.
You definitely will learn something about Fallout 76 and the lore, and I love that. So y'all go check out Kane's channel. There is a link in the description of this video, so y'all please go check him out and subscribe. Also, I want to know if you can hear him very well. If not, we can turn him up. But let me say hi to a few people. The DBZ Collector, you were on early waiting. Thank you. Angela, hello, welcome to the KingCast. Mitchell Renrut, hey buddy, how you doing? Plazaman 66 and Jim as well. Great to have all of y'all on. Mitchell's from Ohio. Well, hello from Arkansas. Okay, let's get into Fallout 76. And again, we're going to talk about those other subjects as well, but we're going to start with Fallout 76 because Locked and Loaded comes this Tuesday. And it can't be soon enough. We're going to have a new season with it, season 4, Perk Loadouts, multiple camps. What do you think overall, Kane, about this update? Are you liking it, or do you think it should be more?
Honestly, I like it. The thing that I like the most is the camp slots. That's my favorite thing there. We're getting a load of different things like the mannequins, special loadouts. That's a little cumbersome, but that's okay. It's once you get it set, it's set. And
that's right. Yeah.
And we get our expansion to daily ops. I'm kind of excited for that. A little scared about it too, but that's okay.
Yes, I've actually enjoyed playing that in the public test server. And it is challenging. The new daily ops are more challenging than the others. And again, there's new missions, new enemies, new locations, new mutations, and new rewards for the daily ops. So very excited about that. Angela says, hey, King, hope you're feeling good these days. Fighting a little bit of pain as always, especially with all these storms running through Arkansas. But I am doing good. Thank you for asking. Express Your Enigma says this is going to be great. I don't know if you're talking about the KingCast or Fallout 76, Locked and Loaded, but both of them are going to be great. And Merv, hey, how you doing? It is great to have you on here as well. Also, Kane, remember the new, I don't know if you'd call it a boss enemy, but hatchling Mothman is a possibility now when you do a daily ops when the cultists are the enemy. That's exciting to me. I can't wait to meet up with the baby Mothman.
Oh, he is tough. I met him in the PTS already once before.
Did you?
He is so quick. If you don't kill him fast, he'll take you down in a heartbeat.
Wow, that's exciting. That is exciting. So I know we've been over these before, and that's why I wanted to get Kane over here on the channel to go over some of this stuff again, see what he thinks about it. We're going to have display cases in our shelters now. We've been waiting on that for a while, haven't we?
Oh, we have. I'm excited for that as well.
Yes.
It's going to be good.
Yes. Hey, Garrett. Hey, Lady Braven. Thank y'all so much for joining the KingCast today. Yeah, that has been a long time coming, getting display cases in the shelters. And you may wonder, why is that a big deal? Well, you have a lot bigger building budget inside the shelters than you do inside your home. And really, the shelter is where I want to display my stuff. So the mannequins that are coming are, as far as I understand, you can display armor and outfits on it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Jeremy says, King, your stuff is great. Hope you're well and having fun. Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate that so much. Again, if y'all are just joining me today, I have special guest Kane, and he has an awesome new YouTube channel. I want y'all to go check it out. The link is down in the description below. But if you like Fallout 76 and you like lore and learning more about the game, then go check his channel out. It is really, really, really good. The mannequins, now they actually come on the scoreboard. Isn't that correct?
Yes. Yeah, that's where you gain access to them at first. And they're also considered NPCs when they're inside the shelter. So you can interact with them and put the clothing on them.
Oh,
but you
wow.
can also kind of walk through them
Cool.
and whatnot as well. They're not static items.
Right. And they may be like Skyrim's mannequins. You remember those that would roam around your house? Those were creepy.
Yes.
I don't know if they ever fixed that bug, because that the house in Riften, those would walk and well, oh, yep, very, 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 very creepy. And season 4, you mentioned that it looks a little bit shorter, but it has some really good content on it. I'm excited about season 4.
Yeah, and you mentioned it being shorter, and I think that's the reason why they're giving us so many double score weekends in a really short period of time. I think that's.
Yeah, if y'all don't know, I believe it's 3 double score weekends. I know we have 2. We have one May 13th and then double XP the 20th. Let's see. It's either 2 or 3. I'm not looking at the
Checking it right now.
Yep. Garrett says, I wonder if they could add even more cells, like make the front door to your house a cell. Absolutely. I don't know if we want that, but yes, they could make it. What's the word? The new thing they do in Fallout 76. What's it called? An instanced cell. Yeah.
Yes.
It was right on the tip of my tongue. But yeah, I mean, if people keep wanting bigger and bigger camp budgets, that would be one way to do it. But I know there would be some people that say no, keep them open. And the really neat thing is you can have multiple shelters. I don't know what the limit is on how many shelters you can have, but you can.
I don't think there is.
Yeah, right now there's not. And you can go through. You can put. I don't know if y'all know this. Everybody knows this, but you can put a shelter door inside a shelter to go to another shelter. So you can just keep going, or make them go in a circle or whatever. That's a lot of instanced cells to build in.
Yes, and each one is its own instance.
Yeah, yeah. Each one has its own budget, so there's not one shelter budget. Each shelter you put in has its own camp budget, which is really, really cool. You can do a lot in that. I want to talk about multiple camp locations because honestly, this one maybe has me the most excited. Again, right now it's only 2 camp slots, but you're going to be able to build 2 different houses. You can only have one at a time. But I believe in the future, just like I said last week, that this will be expanded, just like the Perk loadouts. You're only going to have 2, 1 extra. But I think that will be expanded too in the future. I think they're just easing into it, seeing how it works, and then maybe later add to it. What do you think about that idea, Kane? Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, I'm certain that they're going to add to that. I think it was Jeff Gardner who said that he wanted to make sure that things were working right, and then adding more at a later time.
Yes, absolutely. Lady Braven says, looking forward to the display cases in the shelters. Absolutely. We've waited a long time for that. The multiple camp spots is neat because you can use them for a variety of reasons. Maybe you put one on a lead resource, one on a junk resource, and there's times, like my character, there's times I really need copper, and then there's times I really need lead. So you can switch them like that, but you can also switch them to fast travel. They are very easy. Now, where the perk loadouts are kind of cumbersome, the multiple camps are super easy. All you have to do is go to the map and switch out your camp. So I thought they did the camps very well. I thought it was very smooth. What do you think?
Yeah, it is definitely smooth. I tried it out in the PTS. It was very easy to move from one camp to another and it doesn't mess anything up at all.
Yeah. I thought they pulled that off very well. Hey, Vault Girl, thank you for being here. Happy Saturday to you. So let me just read real quick all that's in Locked and Loaded, and then I'll get some overall opinions. And I know we'll come back to it, but again, there is new daily ops with the chance of the baby Mothman if you have the cultist, and that those daily ops updates. There's again new missions, new enemies, new locations, and new mutations and new rewards. So they've added a bunch to daily ops. Then, of course, the perk loadouts. And we've talked about that a little bit today. And of course, we've talked about it in the past. I can't wait for the perk loadouts as well. Those are a little cumbersome, but as Kane said, once you get it worked out, you have it. And then they're easy to switch from back and forth. It's just you're having to build a whole new build. So, and I know those words wasn't right, but you know what I'm talking about. You're
having to create your whole new build.
Yep.
Right from fresh.
Right from the fresh.
Zero.
So it will take you a little bit of time, but once you get it set, and what's neat about that is you can do. Hey, Jersey Dolphins, what you can do, you can either have like a rifle build and a bloody build. If you want to switch weapons, which I think a lot of people will use it that way because maybe you have two good guns, but when you switch to the other gun, none of your perk cards work for it, or a shotgun and a rifle, whatever it may be. And then other people will use it for, and I know I'm big in this, that's why I wish we had 3, but what I would call a crafting or a camp build, because when I go to my camp, there are so many perks that I switch out: the scrapper perk, the chemist perk, ones that you don't really think about, but that really help you if you have it there. The ammo perk, what's the perk called where you pick twice as much out of your garden?
Green thumb.
Green thumb, super duper. I mean, there's all kinds. So you'll have to decide: do I want a camp perk loadout, or do I want a different build? What are you going to use your second perk loadout for, Kane?
I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna be making a camp, for crafting and things like that.
Yep. Hey, Mad Beavers, what's going on? Good to have you here. Jersey Dolphin says they have a legendary ammo perk now. Also, that's right.
Yes, but keep in mind the legendary perks don't get changed in this particular special loadout.
Right. Your legendary perks are going to be the same in both builds. So that is one thing. James with the super chat. Thank you so much. Like I said last week, y'all do not know how much those super chats mean. I haven't been able to be on YouTube much, so my revenue has gone to zero. But last week, y'all did awesome. And James starting it out there, awesome. He says, "Hello, King. Thanks for the info on the update." So that's so sweet. I appreciate that so much. There's going to be new treasure hunter rewards, and the reason this is important to me is I think the treasure hunter event has kind of become ho-hum to people. In other words, it's treasure hunter weekend, and people go, eh. But with new rewards, I hope that livens the treasure hunter event up. I enjoy the treasure hunter event, especially when there's good rewards to be had. Some of the new reward, most of them are camp items, so that's really cool. Those are the main things that are in Locked and Loaded. Can you think of anything else in Locked and Loaded that you want to bring out or talk about, King?
I think you've pretty well covered it. I think the only other thing I would touch on is the aim assist. So for anyone who uses controllers, that's going to be a huge help for them to be able to basically stay on target, basically.
Yeah, to lock on the target. I haven't used that in the PTS. I don't know how it works, but have you used it in the PTS?
I honestly haven't, because I don't use a controller, but from everything that I've heard from people who do use it and have tested it, they're loving it.
Awesome.
It definitely helps.
Allison Trey with a huge super chat, $19. Thank you. I don't have Walter here to say bad things to you, but I appreciate you guys so much. Y'all, I've said it from the very beginning, that y'all are the best subscribers on YouTube. And by the way, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and do it, because this is the greatest community that I've been around on the web. I remember my son, my teenage son, when I started the channel, he said, "Dad, you're going to get some bad comments, some ugly comments. Are you prepared?" I think he was really scared about me on the internet. And I've had a few, but I'm telling you, for the most part, y'all are just amazing. Y'all take care of me. Y'all are patient with me when I'm gone, and y'all are just wonderful. So Trey and Alice, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. That y'all are awesome. And wasn't it James? I want to make sure. Yeah, James with the $10 as well. Thank you so much. So update number 27, update number 26, excuse me, is coming April the 27th. That is this coming Tuesday. We'll talk about that a little bit more in just a little bit. Also remember that right now going on is the Capsule Plenty weekend. So vendors have twice as much caps as they normally do. I think it's 2,800 caps when you go in. And so if you want to make some money, now's the time. And by the way, shameless plug, I have a couple of videos on how to make money quick in Fallout 76. But one of the easiest ways to make 1,400 anyway, and you can make over that, is go do Uranium Fever. It's a event right close to the White Springs train station. And you'll get 3 or 4 legendaries every time you do the event. Plus, if you pick everything up, don't leave anything behind. Pick everything up and take it straight to the train station. you'll have glowing meat, you'll have assault weapons, which are bring a very good price. And I promise you, you'll get about 1,500 caps or more just out of that one event. So there's you a little tip for the day. And of course, again, there's other ways to make caps. But if you're really in need of caps, there you go, Vault Girl. Thank you so much. Vault Girl's amazing moderator. There is a link right there. Express Your Engine says you're a great source of Fallout info. Glad to be here, man. Thank you. Well, no, I thank you. I appreciate that. That makes me feel really good. And my guest today has a lot of Fallout 76 info. In fact, many times when I don't know something about the game, I ask him, and he knows. Kind of like Vault Girl. Vault Girl is amazing. Just she's a Fallout vault. Any of the games you can ask Vault Girl about, and Kane may be the same way. There's a lot coming this next month. That's what we talked about last week, so I'm not going to belabor that point. But I will tell you, like I said, right now, the Caps Aplenty is going on. Then May 6th through the 10th is going to be that first Treasure Hunter event. And again, all new rewards. May the 13th, double score weekend. May the 20th, which is the next weekend, is a double XP weekend. And then the very next weekend is a second Gold Rush or Caps Aplenty. So there is a lot of things that is coming this month, even though we don't get the quest line yet or anything like that. There's still a lot of things that they're doing. And I appreciate that Bethesda's trying to give us something almost every week in the upcoming month.
Yeah, it's definitely it's nice that they're giving us something in not just rehashing the older events. I mean, I know some people were complaining about the calendar this time around, but honestly, it's better than getting the same old events run over and over and over again, like we did last year. Last year was too many.
Yeah. And I don't mention this enough probably, but I believe COVID has had a really big impact on the amount of content that we're getting. I mean, these people are still working from home, and I know that makes it much slower process. I'll be glad when they can go back. Texas has lifted their mask mandate and all that, so hopefully they can go back to working in office. I know that's up to Bethesda, but very soon. Don't you think that's had an effect on the content, the amount of content?
100%. I think it was Pete Hines who mentioned just how much longer it takes to get things done because of the fact that they're working from home. They've got to download everything to their system at home, do what they're doing, then they got to re-upload it back to the server, and then somebody else can then go forward from that point. So
right.
It's a lot of things that are going on that cause it to slow down.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, that's a good segue. Some people have said if Starfield does not come this year, that COVID's going to be the reason. And I agree. I even thought Starfield was coming last fall when the new Xbox came out. But it makes sense now with the purchase that Xbox purchased Bethesda. It makes sense that they put it off even without COVID to bring it up this year. Speaking of that Starfield, again, I told you at the top of the show, there is new evidence. And again, I don't cover leaks on this channel. These are not leaks. The first one is, and I'm going to get Kane to explain this a little bit more, but they did their copyright, the trademark copyright, and it is dated 2021. Now, what is the significance of that, Kane?
Well, the significance is that copyright law is you cannot place a date or a year in that copyright if the content that you're releasing or the product that you're releasing isn't going out that same year.
Right.
It has to be available to the public to be copyrighted.
So this is different than the trademarks we've been hearing about for so long. They just trademarked the name. and now we have an actual copyright, if you will, of the game. Is that correct?
Yes, the trademark is different. Trademark
Yeah.
just means that somebody else can't use that name or that logo or whatever the case may be. That's all that means. But copyright is separate because copyright is something that's going into the hands of consumers.
So that means the game is done. We've known that. I mean, it's been playable since 2017. You remember Todd Howard said that Starfield was playable in 2017. So I believe without some freak something that Starfield is coming this year. And the good news about that is E3, it's been confirmed that Xbox and Bethesda is going to be at E3. It appears they're going to do it together but separate. Xbox will have their deal, and then Bethesda will come on as a part of Xbox, but they will get to handle their showcase just like they always have. So that's exciting. And just to remind you, with the last two games, Fallout 76 and Fallout 4, it was right around June the 1st that Bethesda put up the please stand by screen. And then, of course, later on, Todd Howard or Pete Hines or whatever would announce something. Bethesda always likes to tell you before E3 that the game's coming, I guess, to build hype. I don't know. So be watching around June the 1st to see if there's some kind of Starfield please stand by or a screen full of stars. If there is, then we know it's going to be at E3. But one other thing before I get Kane's remarks on this, the guy Jeff Grubb that I told y'all about a few weeks ago, that he's a insider. He does Xbox stuff and has got a very good reputation for being right. He says 90% chance that Starfield is coming this year, and he would actually bet money on it. So that sounds pretty good to me, Kane.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with him on that. I've been saying it for a long time, and I'll keep saying it until I'm proven wrong or until it happens. I honestly believe that they announced Starfield at E3, and I would bet. And this is something I haven't said to anybody yet, but I would bet there's going to be a mobile game to go with it, just like they did with Fallout 4.
Absolutely.
I would also guess that the game itself, Starfield, is going to be available either by late June, or not late June, but late July or early August. I honestly believe that's when they're going to release it.
Wow. Well, that might hook up with what, and I don't remember her name, but she is right under Pete Hines. And we were talking about this before the podcast. In that little roundtable podcast they had the other day where Pete Hines was on and she was on and several people from Xbox was on, she mentioned something about this summer. And they were talking about, an E3 type thing. And you mentioned that, of course, QuakeCon comes in August, but maybe it's in their mind, hey, this game may be coming to you in August or September. Maybe it's QuakeCon. During QuakeCon, they would release it. That would be great.
It could be.
Normally, Bethesda does it in November. They release their games in November. But I could definitely see them speeding it up, because remember, Todd Howard says he wants the least amount of time between when they announce it and when it releases.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be. I would be very surprised if it was a November release. I think with the Xbox acquisition and all that, I think they're going to want this out as quick as possible. Especially if it's ready.
Yep, absolutely. Let's see. James says, you taught me how to cook the glowing meat. I do that event every time because of your video. Awesome. Also, there is good brain fungus there for soup. That's right. And brain fungus helps you level up quicker as well. So that glowing meat's expensive. Y'all get that. And there's several other meats that I always get. If you kill a rad toad, pick up the eggs and make the omelets, because those are worth a lot of money too, a lot of caps. Garrett says, hope your mom gets better, King. We need you on YouTube more. Thank you. There are other channels who shall remain nameless that never have anything good to say about 76. I am working to try to get more done from here. But yes, thank you for that about my mom. And she is doing well. We're going for treatments every week. And I believe she's got 6 more weeks to go. So, and it seemed like this last one did help her a little bit. Gizmo says, hello. Hello, Gizmo. Crazy Lou 90 says, the new roadmap seems okay, but the climb to 100 doesn't seem very exciting. Just my opinion. ESO gets so much more attention, but our Fallout 76 community could do with a lot more updates. I truly believe, and if y'all start watching it, I think that is their goal. ESO gets a full, and I'm talking about quest update every 3 months. That's what they try to do with ESO, and that's a lot of content. And you watch after all this COVID gets out, I believe that's what they're going to try to do with Fallout 76. I know they're different games. I know they're different style games, but what do you think about that, Kane? Do you think it's possible that they could follow that ESO pattern of every 3 months?
Oh, for sure. If you look back at ESO, I mean, ESO didn't used to get that many updates when it first launched.
Right.
ESO's been around for a long time. They've got a very established community. They're at a point now where they can do those updates like that. The game is pretty stable. Everything is working and clicking. So it's all time. That's all it comes right down to.
Now,
Fallout 76 will get there.
Do remember, ESO, you have to pay for every update. Fallout 76 is free. So that's a big difference there. Sure. Jim says, did you guys hear about those expeditions? Yes. I've seen the pictures of, is it DuPont Circle in Washington, yes. D.C.? Yes. So it appears one of the expeditions we're going to be going to, I have to slow myself down not to say Washington. I put an R in it. We Arkansans put R's in our washes. But Washington, D.C., and man, I've been talking about that since they first mentioned expeditions, that I would love to go back to Washington, D.C. So that has me super excited. The little bit that we know about the expeditions, it's going to be its own sale, of course, which will help in stability and all that. The question is just how big is that sale going to be? I know it's not going to be the whole Fallout 3 map. It may just be right there. And maybe a good comparison, if you will. You know, Fallout 4 just released this past year a Fallout 3 mod through their what's the pay-in mods called? Creation Club. Yeah. And it was a neat mission, but it was kind of a small area. So that may be what we're looking at least with the first expedition, and then they can grow it from there. Very quickly,
I want to touch on that.
Yeah, you actually told me that you thought they might continue to add to the Washington map. That would be neat. So it would open up more and more and more.
Yeah, and when they talked about the expeditions, they were talking about the size and scope that they want it to be. They want it to be the size of like in a Far Harbor type of,
yes.
of BLC type of expeditions. So Far Harbor is pretty big. Is a pretty big map. It's almost as big as Fallout 3's map. So
yep.
it's pretty close. You know, I think we could see a lot of things with that, and I think that's the direction where they're going to go when they get to that point, like ESO is at right now.
Real quick question, and this is just off the cuff. Do you think we're going to go by train or vertibot? Is that what they're called?
Birds.
How are we going to get to Washington D.C.? I think it's going to be the helicopters because
it could be.
It could
be train too.
It could be.
There is a train that leads that direction.
Absolutely. Is it the Harper's Ferry Tunnel?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that goes straight to Washington D.C. So I thought either train, and there's a train engine already right there in Harper's Ferry. You know, you can blow the whistle at Harper's Ferry. But a vertibot or the helicopters may make more sense, because if you look as the crow flies from West Virginia to Washington D.C. is about the same distance as I am from Dallas. It's about a 4-hour, 3.5 hour if you were going to drive it. So you may see them go to the air, and there's already vertibots everywhere in the game. So which one do you lean to, Kane? I would love to see them open up the train track, though.
But, yeah, I mean, it could be either way, because at this point there's a number of options that they have, and I mean, really, it's what limitation do they have? They can build any option there. We're not going to see the whole travel as we go there. It's just going to be a loading screen. So I think it's going to be, that quick. We get on the train if it's a train.
Yeah,
and then we go through
just like the Far Harbor boat ride. It kind of
yeah.
You'll take a nap during the train ride or something like that.
And speaking of which, I mean, they could also do that if they go a different direction into like Chicago. There's a train option there, or there's even the river, the Ohio River.
And the pit, you got the pit. It's very close. There's a lot of places that are really close that are
that's where the settlers came from.
Yeah, that's right. And they're talking about it. And Bethesda loves to tell you where they're going before they go. If you know what I mean. Fallout 3 had the Institute quest in it with Sense and all that. So they kind of like to hint things, and maybe that's why the settlers came from the pit. Also, some of the Brotherhood of Steel came through there as well. So that's very interesting. Crazy Lou says, yeah, I spend a lot on this game. Well, my version is a lot, 60 euros. I don't know what a euro is. I don't know what the exchange rate is, but it's close.
It's pretty close to $1.
Yeah, I don't have a life, to be honest. Just really enjoy the game. I understand that. Fallout 76 is my life, pretty much, especially when my lupus is going crazy. Let's see. Garrett's talking to somebody else. Jim says, I cannot wait for more to explore. Me too. That's my favorite thing about a Bethesda game is the exploring. Even if they open, I don't know if y'all remember, but I asked a question on when Jeff Garner and them did that thing, and they actually answered it, which was great. But I would love to see them open up more of the buildings that are in West Virginia. But most of them are boarded up. Well, it makes sense at the first of the game because nobody was around. But now with people coming back to West Virginia through Wastelanders and now Brotherhood of Steel, it would make sense that they would repurpose some of these buildings that are boarded up, and some of them are big. I mean, there's full churches, there's full 3 and 4 story high rises that are boarded up. So I would love to see them do that. There is all kinds of things they can do to expand the game, even beyond the expeditions.
Oh, absolutely. There's so many options that they have right now. And I think that's part of the problem is there's just so many directions that they can go, and they have to like prioritize. All right, let's do this, then we'll do this, then we'll do this.
Yep. Jeremy says the Microsoft money didn't stay with Bethesda or ZeniMax. Bethesda has Microsoft backing, but maybe not a whole lot of money yet. No, they're wanting to make money right now instead of spend it. But I know they want the absolute best product. And if Starfield is in its finishing stages, I think it's already finished. But I can definitely see Microsoft spending the money to make that game as good as they can, because they know that Bethesda Game Studios is the cash cow in Bethesda Softworks. So they need Starfield to be a success to justify their $7.5 billion acquisition. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, 100%. They're banking on that, and quite frankly, so is Bethesda. I mean, they've put a lot. They've got a lot riding on this because there's so much hype over very little information.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Anything Bethesda Game Studios does, there's hype. This is a whole different subject. I just wanted to get your opinion. Me and Joey Caps talked about this quite a while ago, but marketing's going to be a little bit different for Starfield than it is for Fallout or the Elder Scrolls, because not the casual gamer does not know the name Starfield. So I hope we see a massive marketing campaign to get the name out, to get more than just us diehard Bethesda fans to go and pick up Starfield.
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's the reason why they need to announce it at E3.
Yeah, and there is where Xbox money comes in.
That's right.
Yeah, they will pay for the marketing. So I think you're going to see a marketing campaign for Starfield that's unlike anything we've ever seen from Bethesda, because they have the money to do it. Garrett says vertibirds, in my opinion, or we could just walk. Who knows? I think it will be vertibirds, kind of like in Fallout 4, where we flew in the vertibird, over to the island. But I would love to see a train as well. Garrett also says one of the data mine locations actually is Chicago. Another is New York. Not sure if you guys knew that. I knew there were some pictures out there. I didn't know. If I did know, I forgot. So thank you, Garrett, for bringing that to our attention. The DBZ collector says, when is the next double XP event? It is May the 20th. May the 20th. You've got double scores and double XPs that are all over that roadmap. So, but May the 20th is when the next double XP is. And the week before that is a double score weekend. So, let's see. Jim says, after what happened with Cyberpunk, they are going to make triple sure that Starfield is bug free. Yes. Also, I don't believe I read what Garrett said up here. You guys realize that 3 years from now, 76 could be the biggest and best Fallout game, meaning we could return to like all the past game locations and experience them 200 years before those games. I think that's a great point. And especially if this game lasts as long as they want it to, if Microsoft, if Xbox is behind it, which I think they are, I've said all along, I think it's going to do like ESO did. It went from a very rough start to now ESO arguably is the best MMO out there. It's won that award many years straight. But yes, I can definitely see 76 becoming that kind of game.
Oh, 100%. And yes, I would love to see those locations 200 years before we see them in the regular games.
Yes. Ice Queen says King Starfield is going to be released soon. E3 maybe. It's going to be announced on E3. No, I mean I'm kind of like Jeff Grubb. I'll even say a 95% chance that we're going to see it this year. If we don't see it this year, and I think Jim was the one saying it, it'll be because of bugs. The game's done. They're polishing it right now, hopefully, or who knows? It may be packed in boxes ready to go. But I agree. They don't want another Fallout 76 launch. They don't want a Cyberpunk launch. They will do everything they can for it to be right. Garrett says, let's see. Okay, he's talking to Jim. One thing I did want to mention about Starfield, and see if this is connected, just within the last few weeks, we've had a lot of people from Bethesda Game Studios and Bethesda leaving. First off, do you think this is concerning?
I don't think it's concerning. I think it's normal. It's a normal practice that happens anytime one company purchases or buys out another company. There's always overlap. So some people in some positions just aren't going to have those positions anymore. So they're probably going to be, if they're probably going to be offered other positions to go to, and if they don't want to do that, they're allowed to go ahead and move on and do other things.
Yeah,
I think that's what we're seeing.
You bring up a great point, because I have to mention, these are not low-level employees leaving. These are people that have been there 10, 15, 20 years. Nate Perk, which was, I think, lead artist on a lot of the games that we love.
Yes.
He's left. Outside of Bethesda Game Studios, the lead developer for id Software left. Now, that was back in the summer, but of course he knew what was coming. My question is, I know some of this is because Xbox bought, or Microsoft bought, Bethesda, and it's totally different working for a private company as a public company. So I can see people taking early retirement or whatever, but some people have thought that many of these people are leaving. I believe it's like 7 now from BGS. I think Skolzy was the one that mentioned this. He thinks that they're leaving because the Starfield project is done. That could be a reason they're leaving, which would be a time to leave, I guess, when you get your job done on a game. Do you think it's more Starfield is done or Xbox bought Bethesda? Could it be both?
I think honestly it could be both, but I would lean more toward the fact that it's the purchase of Bethesda that's making these changes. Every company goes through that. I mean, I work for a company that did the same thing, so I don't see that as being something to be worried about or anything like that.
You don't think Todd Howard could be pondering retirement now because of this?
I don't think he will yet. I think he's pretty much a staple. His name is synonymous with Bethesda, so I don't think that they're going to want to replace him anytime soon. I don't think he's.
Oh, I know that. Yeah, they don't want to lose him for sure.
I don't think he's ready to go yet, anyway.
But I have said I think he'll stay around for Elder Scrolls 6, but I think that will be his last. And I hate to say that, but that's a different subject as well. Jim says, let Obsidian do the New Vegas expedition. I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. Kane, I'll get your opinion on it, but I can see them now that they're part of the Xbox family. I can actually see a good possibility of a Fallout spinoff or a Fallout remaster before we get to Fallout 5. And the reason I say that is you've got Starfield, you've got the Elder Scrolls 6, and of course you've got Fallout 76 going on. So it's going to be a long time before Fallout 5. So what do you think? Yeah. Do you think there's a possibility of either a, Obsidian type spinoff or a remaster?
I don't think Obsidian's going to be involved at all. I mean, honestly, they're a completely different company now. In fact, nobody that worked on New Vegas is still with the company. So
say that again for everybody that's listening. This is an important point.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't think that Obsidian's going to do anything with Fallout anymore. And they're a completely different company. Anyone who worked on New Vegas is no longer with Obsidian, so it wouldn't be the same anyway. So right. This whole Obsidian thing is kind of a dead subject to me.
And I'm not beating up on Obsidian, but to me, The Outer Worlds was a disappointment. Not a bad disappointment, because what Obsidian does good, they do great, which is their storytelling and their different paths to get to it. I'm talking about the world itself, the mechanics, all that stuff. The Outer Worlds didn't blow me away anyway. and when they announced the Outer Worlds, of course, that's when Fallout 76 was having its trouble, and everybody was going, "This is the death of Bethesda," this, and of course, after it came out, everybody quit talking about it because it wasn't that. It does not compare to Bethesda.
And that's the thing. First of all, Obsidian is its own company. They're making their own games and doing all these things. Microsoft has companies that do just remasters of other games. I think we do see some remasters coming for sure, because that's a thing that Microsoft likes to do.
Man, so give me Fallout 3, give me Fallout New Vegas, give me Oblivion. Oh, I would love to get some remasters on there.
Yeah, I think they could easily do that. With one of their studios that are already dedicated to that.
Yep. Let me mention again, because we've only got 10 minutes left in the podcast. These go fast, don't they, Kane?
Sure do.
My guest is Kane, and he has a new YouTube channel that is based on Fallout lore. And I have extremely enjoyed the videos that he's put out. So please go down in the description box of this podcast, and you will find his the link to his channel. And I ask you to subscribe. Like I said, he's just starting out, and we want to get his numbers going. And by the way, I'll mention another person too. Vault Girl, which does an amazing job on moderating this, and bless her heart, she's doing her own channel and she works like crazy. So if you're not subscribed to Vault Girl, you need to do that as well. She does all kinds of gaming content and cooking content as well. So let's see. Garrett says, no, it isn't concerning when people leave who have been there for 15 or 20 years. Then they leave on good terms, which means they are done on their part of Starfield, King. I agree. I hate to see like Nate Perkapile leave. I hated to see, I can see him, but I cannot think of the id Software guy's name. He went and took another gaming job, and I assume Nate Perkapile is going to do the same thing, because he said on his Twitter that he will still be building worlds. So he may be going to Obsidian, or who knows where he's going, but he's going to another job, and that I hate to see. I like people to stick around. The Ice Queen says Starfield is done. The people leaving could be cashing out and moving on. The bought Todd with Bethesda. Oh, yeah. They bought.
That's what I think.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely, they bought Todd with Bethesda, and they want him to stay for sure. Maybe Pete can retire, but no, I won't get into that.
I don't think he will either.
All owned by Microsoft. Big happy family. Yep. Garrett says, I think Todd could possibly leave after TES 6 too. Which would burn me out. He is one, if not the best game directors of all time. You definitely have to mention his name because of all the, from Morrowind on, game of the year. Garrett also says the Outer Worlds was incredibly short and not worth all the money. It wasn't worth all the hype, is my point, because people said this was going to destroy Bethesda and all this. Not a bad game, but the 20-hour main story doesn't hold up to Bethesda's 200+ hours. Amen. Absolutely. Garrett said he just subscribed to Kane. Yay. Thank you, Garrett.
Yay.
Fallout lore is enough for me to subscribe. And Vault Girl is awesome. She helped me stabilize Fallout 3. That is wonderful. Okay, we've got about 7 minutes. So any questions that y'all have, this is kind of where we do free for all at the end. If y'all have questions about anything that we have or haven't talked about, you just put them up on the board, and we will go that way. Kane, tell them a little bit more about the videos that you've been making.
I have actually just put out a full series on each of the different regions in Fallout 76. They're really short videos just talking about why we see that region as it is right now in the game.
But
really good.
but even as short as they are, you give such great detail. How did the Toxic Valley become the Toxic Valley? How did the Ash Heap become the Ash Heap? If you want to know those things, Kane does an amazing job breaking it down in a very short video. So you did great, Kane.
I thank you for that.
Yeah,
I want to touch on something real quick while
yes,
we're waiting
absolutely.
for some questions. The one thing that's not mentioned in the Locked and Loaded update is the build. If you have a melee build, they fixed the issues that people were having with that. So if you have a melee build, you can go back to it.
I had forgotten about that because I don't ever do melee, but yeah, that is something they mentioned as well. Vault Girl just put a link to one of Kane's videos right there, so you can click on that to get over there to his channel and subscribe. And there is Vault Girl too, so you can click on her name and go subscribe to her, Vault Girl 145. So y'all please do that. Garrett says, what are your hopes for Steel Rain? I'm praying that it is Wastelander sized, if not bigger. The bigger the better, of course. Yes, size does matter when it comes to DLCs, but I don't expect it to be a Wastelander's size. I do expect it to be a little bit bigger than the first part. But I've said all along, I don't believe this is going to finish up the Brotherhood of Steel. I think the Brotherhood of Steel is now in Appalachia, and the next quest line may not be a Brotherhood of Steel quest line, but I think we will get more down the line. What do you think about that, King?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, this is gonna finish up some of the questions that we have about the Brotherhood of Steel, but I think it's going to open up the door for more future updates as well. Yeah. So it's going to be exciting.
Well, and the main question is it Shin or Romani, right? Which path is the Brotherhood going to take in West Virginia? And what I hope and what I think there's really going to be consequences in your game according to what choice you make, whether it's Shin or Romani, because they have two totally different philosophies about the Brotherhood.
Yes, yeah, they do. They really do, and they may even throw a curveball at us and throw the scribe in there. What's her name?
Valdez.
Valdez. Yeah.
Yeah, she's my favorite. Don't tell Queen that, but I like Valdez. They need to make her romanceable in the game. Ice Queen says, let's see, is there a hard release date for the BOS update? No, it is July though. Am I correct, Kane?
Yes.
They've got it, and so I expect it around the 1st to middle of July. I don't think it'll be at the last of July. Lady Braven says, woo, I'll be happy to go back to Melee. A lot of Melee people here. Garrett says, I just want to have questing content to get me through 2021. Steel Rain was so very short. It was short. One thing that I have really enjoyed, and you've probably tried this, but making a new character and going back through some of the stuff slower, looking into the lore. That's what I like to do anyway. I've got one of my characters. I think I've got 5 or whatever the limit is. But I've really enjoyed going back through some of the things that maybe I went through a little bit too fast. I just did the astronauts line and enjoyed it even more. So there's an option, of course, always. Ice Queen says there are 3 paths. You can choose Scribe, Valdez, or the other 2. That would be a neat option if there's 3. If you can actually go with make the Scribe the head. I want to see us get promoted. I don't want to be an initiate anymore. Do you think we're going to get promoted?
Yeah, I think we're going to get promoted.
I do too, yeah.
I think we'll either reach the rank of knight, which is probably the most likely next rank anyway for us, because that's
what
the
we're
order
doing. Yeah.
of things.
If you guys don't know, in the Brotherhood, after Initiate, you have Scribe and you have Knight, which are basically the same rank, but they do different jobs. Am I correct with that? Yeah.
Yes.
Alex says that's classic. Hey, Alex, welcome to the KingCast. Glad you're here. There is Psycho. Hey, Psycho. He says Romani for sure, unless Valdez is an option. Hey, I'm writing in Valdez. I think Valdez. I'll tell you really quick, and I don't want to put any spoilers, but I've actually changed my mind which direction I'm going to go. And Kane, you're to blame. Romani is a super nice person, and Shin is a jerk. Let's just put it that way. I mean, that's true. But really look at the direction that both want to take the Brotherhood, and what Romani did there at the end of the first half was terrible, absolutely terrible. Cutting ties with the West Coast and the Brotherhood. She wants to do the Brotherhood the way she wants to do it instead of the way the Brotherhood was founded to be. So yes, it's going to be up to me and you which way you're going to go.
Yeah, and Shin kind of hit the nail right on the head in the story there. She's basically just running away from her mistakes instead of owning up to them.
That's a big thing. You need to dig into what happened to this group in between them coming from the West Coast to here. They had a very bad situation, and yes, there were mistakes made, and I agree. I think that's exactly why she cut contact with the West Coast. She didn't want to explain herself, and she might have even lost her job with all the information. But y'all dig into that. I've given you too much spoilers there. So James says, King, you're sweet on Valdez. She'll never be Piper, but she's pretty cool. Yeah, I was sweet on Piper too. The DBZ collector says, near the overseer's camp, there were two bad guys, but now they are scribes, and I've killed them several times without realizing. Whoops. Yeah, that's a random spawn, so it'll be different things at different times. Unless they were always scribes. No, I think there are raiders that spawn there as well. Garrett says, do you think the new dangerous ritual event later this year will be summoning the interloper? Oh, wouldn't that be neat?
It could be.
It could be. I definitely want to learn more about the interloper. That would be awesome. Yeah, that would be awesome.
I'd like to see them turn the cultists into a faction that you can actually befriend.
Yes, yeah, that's true. Kind of like the children of Adam from Fallout 4.
Yeah, and that too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mentioned something to Kane. He didn't agree with me, but I want y'all to think about it. Is the cultist, the Mothman cultist, are they just brainwashed like the children of Adam were? And I think that's probably the most likely possibility. Or does the Mothman, he throws out that whatever those waves are, does the Mothman have something where he can actually cause them to almost like what am I trying to say, Kane? Like they're hypnotized or mind controlled.
Yeah, mind controlled. Yeah.
Yeah, by the Mothman. And the reason I say this, you come up on the cultist and don't attack them, but just listen to what they say and how they say it. It's almost like they're in a daze. Oh, Mothman, are they just trying to be overly religious, or are they mind controlled? I hope we get to learn their backstory very soon, and that, of course, includes the interloper. Allison Trey said, I want to be Paladin. I will say this. Whether it's Fallout 4, Skyrim, whatever, I thought, and I understand why they do it, but I actually don't like becoming the commander so fast. I feel like in those games, you know, whether you're and I'm trying to think of the name of the, goodness, my memory is terrible. But whether you're in Skyrim, you know, doing one of the 3 factions or Brotherhood of Steel, you really climb through the ranks really, really quick. And so what I'm saying is, you know, slow it down a little bit, make you work for it. That's my opinion anyway.
Yeah, I'm with you there, because I mean, you became the general of the Minutemen like in no time.
Yeah, you know, it's like Preston said, "I don't want it, so you're it." You know, well,
Right.
and he didn't even know us. But anyway, let's see. Ice Queen says, "I'm a general with the Enclave." And see, there's another one. You got general real quick. I just got my Elder PA paint. Awesome. So I am ready. That is awesome. And by the way, if y'all didn't know, turning in those not treasury notes, good grief. Turning in the what are they called? For the Brotherhood of Steel, gets you different.
Oh, the technical documents.
Yeah, the technical documents that you pick up. Every time you turn those in, you get closer to the next rank, and it actually gives you that paint for the that skin for power armor. So yes, you can go all the way and get the Paladin paint job. Technical data, thank you, Ice Queen. Lady Braven says, right, I don't want to be responsible when I'm still trying to figure out skill rotation. Psycho says they need to be like elite dangerous. You got to work your butt off forever to get max faction ranks. I agree. You know, people said it was too grindy to become friends with the raiders and the settlers, but it makes you feel like you accomplished something, though. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
King, you're looking quite handsome today, by the way. Well, thank you. You're about the 5th person on this podcast to say that. No, I'm teasing. Thank you, my queen. I love you, dear, and miss you. Hopefully we can see each other tomorrow. Well, believe it or not, we are 7 minutes over what we normally do on the podcast. Y'all's questions have been great. The conversation with Kane has been great. Kane, will you come back another time and be on the KingCast again?
Of course, anytime.
Absolutely enjoyed it. It flowed and went very well. I hope we kept you up to date with what's coming in Fallout 76, with what's coming with Bethesda at E3, and of course Starfield. If you missed any part of the podcast, go back and watch it, because we covered a lot. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. And again, in the description of this video is Kane's link to his YouTube channel. So please go over there and subscribe to him. And also my wonderful moderator, Vault Girl. Please go check her channel out and subscribe, because I promise you, you will love both of their channels. Kane, do you have anything that you want to add before we're out of here?
I think you've covered it pretty well. Just keep plugging away at 76. It's gonna be great this year. This year's got a lot of content coming, so keep your eyes peeled for more videos from both me and King.
Absolutely. Garrett says, had a pretty good crowd today, King. We will try and keep it that way. Yes, the numbers were great. Thank y'all so much. When you get away from YouTube just a little bit, your numbers go. So, and Miss Queen says, hit that like button and go sub to Kane and Vault Girl. And then Johnny with a super chat right here at the end. Thank you. Thank you, Johnny. That's the 3rd one. Thank you so much. He says, thank you for all the information, King. You're looking good. You too, Queen. Love you all. Stay safe. Stay safe. See, there's another person that says I'm looking handsome. So, Kane, you think I'm looking handsome? Don't answer that question. I hope y'all have a very wonderful rest of your weekend. Have a wonderful Saturday night. And if the Lord gives us tomorrow, I hope you have a great Sunday. Kane, thank you again for being on. I hope to have you back on again soon. Y'all have a great weekend. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.